Next we have Tony, and thus endeth the biblical names.
There's no Gospel of Tony?
Yeah, I'm writing it right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, first off, I think you do know a tree by the fruit it bears. Without a doubt, we can all admit that there's abuse in the whole major religion process.
Admit it. We gloat about it sometimes.
Yes, you do, which brings me up to judgment, and that's a point further down my talking points. But first, I want to talk about knowing a tree by the fruit it bears, and especially in light of these storms, which keep coming up with all the callers, in light of what many see as a failed governmental response, the faith-based groups have made such an impact upon people's lives. If you look around, you can talk about...
Yeah.
Yes, please let me finish.
Okay.
Hold your... You have the whole show. I only have a few moments.
That doesn't...
Hold on.
That doesn't fly with us,
Hey,
though.
guy, chill out. Let me get a sentence out before your
ahead.
judgment starts to roll off your tongue.
Go ahead.
If you're going to deny that religious charity has made a substantial impact upon the suffering of people's lives in the wake of both Katrina and Rita, then you're not being open-minded and objective. You say what you want about their beliefs, but their actions of normal, everyday, God-fearing people of all faiths. I lived in California after the wildfires. One of the first groups in were Buddhists from, in fact, I believe a Chinese group. Now, say what you want. You can disparage their belief systems, but these people are putting their money where their mouth is. Not everybody who believes in a religion is trying to rip somebody off. Secondly, you talk about judgment and what hypocrites they are for judging you, but yet I've watched your show many times, and you guys sit there and judge religious people nonstop. I'd like you to go the rest of this show without judging believers, and to prove to me that you don't judge, to prove to me you're better, because otherwise you're just a hypocrite doing the same thing they are. Thirdly, science as a vessel
Are
of
we going to
faith.
get a chance to respond at some
Hold
point?
on, science. I'll take my...
Tony,
I'm sorry,
Tony. We'd be happy
This is
to
our
address
show.
your points one at a time. What we don't want to do is get a big, long list of points and then fumble around and not be able to answer them well because, you know, now we got a huge list of them. We can't remember what they are. So you want to take the first one?
What was the first one? See, I've already lost
The
my
first one was
attention span.
faith-based organizations helping with disaster
Actually, I think
relief.
you're better with faith-based organizations.
Okay.
I'll go for the second one.
First, we don't deny that people of faith can do good works. We don't deny that. What we do deny is that belief in an invisible guy in the sky who created everything has anything to do with a person's ability to help others. There's nothing at all to do with it. I would also add that Pat Robertson, right, that dimwit on TV who was calling for the assassination of Hugo Chavez not long ago, right, this supposed representative of the love of Jesus Christ calling for the assassination of a foreign head of state. His organization is one of the top organizations listed on, is it FEMA's website?
FEMA.
On FEMA's website.
I think they took him down.
Did they? Awesome. But when FEMA first put out their list of organizations to donate to help with disaster relief, you know what? Only 2 of the organizations on the list were not faith-based. Now, that's not because there aren't organizations, aid organizations, that aren't faith-based. There's lots of them. It's because we have an administration which makes it its business to try to direct everybody in the United States to channel their money through religious organizations. That was the first point. Do you remember what his second one was?
The second point was that we accuse Christians of judging people when we, in fact, judge people ourselves, and he wanted to challenge us to not judge anybody for the rest of the show, to which I say, why not?
And plus, I think a big example of judging people that came up in this show was our reaction to being told that we deserve to be tortured forever in hell. You know, it seems ironic to me to be accused of judging when we're talking about my personal response to being directly insulted. That's not judging. You're not judging someone when they walk up to your face and say, "You deserve to be tortured forever."
Sure you are. You, look,
I
say that
you can
person
use the
is
word
a
judgment
jerk.
for that, but that is missing the point.
But I say that person is a jerk, and that is a judgment, which highlights the fact that I don't have a problem with judgment. In fact, one of the things that irritates me is when people don't take a stand on stuff. When, you know, like when they deny science, basically, and then when arguments against their religion come up, they say stuff like, "Oh, well, you know, it's all opinion. You know, you got your opinion and I've got mine, and nobody really knows anything." Or when you've got you know, when you've got a political issue and one side is clearly lying about something. And the response to that person is a liar is, well, that's your opinion. I am in favor of judging, frankly. I'm in favor of placing value judgments on things. I think that everybody should use their critical thinking skills to determine when one point of view is full of hooey. I'm not against judging, and I've never said that I am.
Right. There's a difference between just being an ass, right, and having an objection that you can explain, right, and make a case. Those are two different kinds of things. Yeah, you can use the same word for both of them. It's not the same thing.
Right, and I think that one primary difference between a lot of believers and a lot of unbelievers is basically that believers think that the way that you arrive at the truth is by being told it and then just believing whatever particular source you happen to latch onto, whether it's the Bible or the Koran or Elvis or whatever. Whereas, I would like to think that the reason a lot of people have for being unbelievers is that they think that it's a big, complicated world out there, and you have to actually sit around and think about stuff because everything could be suspect, but there is an answer to be arrived at somewhere if you just apply yourself to figure it out. That's what I would call judging, and I'm for it.
Yeah, and I'd like to finish on that point by saying, if the caller feels that we have unfairly judged someone on our show, we would be happy to hear them state the specific example, and we will either explain our case for why we arrived at the decision that we did, or apologize if we were wrong. We'd be happy to do either of those things.
Right. And Tony, we didn't hang up on you. We put you on hold, but Tony left. But I would like to say one last thing, which is don't call and tell me how I'm going to handle calls, because if I want to put you on hold or I want to respond to your points, like you said, this is our show. This is not the Tony show. And if you're making good points, then we'll let you continue making them.
Right. Well, we try to be fair, but fair involves a dialogue where we get to each take turns. It does not involve, you know, a caller hijacking our show to play a tape or to read us a big list of objections or anything.
And then yelling at us because we won't let them take 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Rick?